This is Jarrod Horak for the RunawayHorse.com. Welcome to my latest Kentucky Derby 2022 points race video. And in my series, I've covered 27 races so far, and my top choices have 9 wins, 8 seconds, and a 3rd place finish. The last video I did was the Tampa Bay Derby, and my top choice, Classic Causeway, went wire to wire. In this video, I'm going to cover 3 races: the Louisiana Derby, the Sunland Derby, and then the UAE Derby. Now, if you're interested in checking out my Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks blogs, head on over to the RunawayHorse.com. You will find those on my Kentucky Derby 2022 page. I recap all the points races in those blogs, I update the point standings, and then I give out my top contenders on the road to the Derby and Oaks each week as well. Now, let's get into the analysis of this video. I'm going to do the 12th race from Fairgrounds to start it off. It's the Grade 2 $1 million Louisiana Derby for 3-year-olds, 1 mile and 3/16 on the main track with a scheduled post time 6:44 p.m. Eastern Time. Number 1 is Silent Power. He's 50 to 1 morning line, and he's 1 for 8 lifetime. And he won his career debut at 4.5 furlongs, and then he hasn't really done anything since then. He's one that is coming off of a restricted stakes race at Delta Downs. He finished 4th in a 7-horse field. He's not fast enough, though, to threaten this group. He'll try to get involved late. Number 2, Zozos, is interesting for trainer Brad Cox. Won his career debut at 6 furlongs. That was a nice effort that day on January 23rd. He stalked from 4th and won by a half length. The 2nd and 3rd place finishers were next out winners. And Zozos was the next out winner when he stretched out to 1 mile and 1/16 on February 11th. He stalked very slow fractions, and he just pulled clear, and he won by 10 lengths. He was sitting in 2nd. They were going 48-4, 114-1, well below par for the level, but he was just able to just kick away and win very nicely. Now they're going to try him in stakes ranks. We'll see how good he is. Call Me Midnight rallied to win the Lecomte Stakes last time out. And that was a nice effort. He got a lot of pace help that day. The pace was quick, and he was able to win by a head, edging Epicenter, who's back in this race. Now, before that, he ran in the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes. He finished up the track, but that was a productive race. We've seen multiple horses come out of that race and win points races this year, including the runner-up Classic Causeway. He's won a couple points races, so the Sam F. Davis and the Tampa Bay Derby. White Abarrio, the show finisher, he came back and he won the Holy Bull. And we saw Call Me Midnight win the Lecomte last time out. The winner there, Smile Happy, came back and finished 2nd in his first start this year in the Risen Star Stakes. So Call Me Midnight, if the pace heats up, he can get involved late. Curly Tail, the 4, 30 to 1 morning line. Took him 6 starts to break his maiden, but he did look good breaking his maiden last time at Sunland Park, rallying from off the pace, rallying wide from an outer post to win by a half length. That was a much better effort than all of his other races. But he did have Lasix that day, and he won't be able to have Lasix in this points race. Number 5, Kupuna. This one is improving for trainer Brett Calhoun. So each of his races have been pretty solid. He was 3rd in the debut at 6.5 furlongs. Cyberknife was 2nd there. He was a next out winner. 2nd time out, this one missed by a neck. Then he added Lasix in his 3rd start, and he romped and broke his maiden by 5 lengths. And then in his last start, Cyberknife beat him. He was clearly 2nd best, and that was his best speed rating yet. So now 3rd start after a layoff, but he does lose Lasix in here. Epicenter is the one to catch. He's the 6th. He's really not done anything wrong since they stretched him out in distance. Didn't run well in his career debut. That was at 7 furlongs. Stretched out to a 1-turn mile in his 2nd start, and he won that race on a good track at Churchill Downs. Then he won an early Kentucky Derby points race, the Gunrunner Stakes, by more than 6 lengths. In his next start in the Lecomte Stakes as my top choice, he did all the pace dirty work there. He was just battling on that pace. They were trying to pressure him, and he just wouldn't give up, and he missed by a head. He ran the best overall race that day. And then last time in the Risen Star Stakes, he was able to get out there, dictate the pace, and he just kicked clear. Smile Happy and Zandon were 2nd and 3rd. They're 2 top Kentucky Derby contenders this year. That was a deep quality race. He beat some good horses. He held them off, but he did control the pace. But he might be able to control the pace again here under Joel Rosario. Pioneer of Medina chased Epicenter last time out, couldn't keep up. Now, on January 22nd, he went wire to wire on the Lecomte Stakes undercard. Didn't run as fast as the Lecomte horses, but he ran a quality race, and then he was beaten a little more than 3 lengths last time in the Risen Star. He's one that could still end up moving forward a little bit, but do note that he had Lasix in that optional claiming victory that he looked good in on the Lecomte undercard. Did not have Lasix last time, but he has one without Lasix. He did break his maiden without it. He's going to have to be stalking the pace in here, but he's going to have to find some more late energy. Number 8 is Galt, and he's 8-1 morning line. In the Holy Bull Stakes, he ran a decent race from the inside post, but let's backtrack before that. They moved him back to the main track for his maiden race, and they took his maiden victory. They took the blinkers off that day. That was on December 26th, and he looked good winning that one. And then in the Holy Bull Stakes from the inside post, he surprisingly set the pace when it looked like he was probably going to try to save ground, stalking the pace, looking at his pace ratings and running style. But he went out there, he tried to set the pace, and he did that, but he couldn't hold on. He finished 4th. And then in the Fountain, the Youth Stakes last time out, he lost his rider there in the stretch. He really never had a chance. So looked like he was maybe going to try to rally from off the pace. From post 11, he was up against it anyway. With a mishap there, he just dropped his rider, and now he's back in this race. So I'm not sure from this outer post what kind of style he's going to show out. He's not quick enough to get the lead in here. Maybe stalk wide. Maybe they're going to try to sit back and make a run. We'll see. Nice pedigree here for this Bill Mott trainee. Finally, number 9, Rattle and Roll for Ken McPeak. Did not run well in the Fountain, the Youth Stakes in his return. That was a roughly run race. He ended up finishing 6th in that 11-horse field. Not an awful start. I can see him improving second after the layoff. Does have a bullet work for this. Looked good in the Breeders' Futurity last year. Classic Causeway was 3rd. He's won a couple races this year, but none of the other horses from the Breeders' Futurity have really done much. I want to see what he can do from the outside post, trying to rally from off the pace in a race that looks like we have a controlling speed in here. So we'll give out my top 3 in here. Pioneer of Medina. He'll be my 3rd choice. I think he can go maybe a little bit better in this race for trainer Todd Pletcher. Tyler Gaffalione will get aboard for the first time. Good jockey trainer team stats. He's got tactical speed. I think if he can ration his speed a little bit better this time, maybe he can run a quality race. My 2nd choice will be Zozos. He's interesting for trainer Brad Cox. Not quite sure how good he is. That pace was very slow last time. So we're just really not sure how he's going to cope against better company with a quicker, most likely a quicker pace scenario. But he's going to probably save ground stalking the pace. Would not be surprised if he ran well. Can't really go against Epicenter in here. He just looks like the controlling speed again. He's just shown up every time he's run around 2 turns with his maiden, win in the Gun Runner easily. Ran too good to lose in the Lecomte, and then he just really good in that Risen Star. If he can get out there and control the pace, he's probably going to do just what Classic Causeway did in the Tampa Bay Derby. Just get out there, control the pace, wire the field. So that's a look at the Louisiana Derby. Now I will take a look at, and we'll go over to Sunland Park, and we'll do the Sunland Park Derby next. But that one will be run Sunday, March 27th. The 11th race from Sunland Park, the Grade 3, $500,000 Sunland Park Derby for 3-year-olds, 1 mile and 1/8 on the main track. Steve Asmussen has the 2 inside horses. Number 2 looks the better of the 2. That's Classic Moment. He's 7-2 morning line. In the Mind That Bird Derby, he was a solid 3rd. Again, he had Lasix there. He can't use it in this spot. And he's one that will probably stalk the pace with Joao Rosario aboard. Fowler Blue is one of the horses that are coming out of the Mind That Bird Derby. He finished 4th that day from the inside post. He's going to try to sit back, rally, and make a late run. Slow down Andy for Doug O'Neill. He's your morning line favorite. He won the Los Alamitos Futurity last year. He was 6th in the Risen Star in his comeback, racing wide from post 10. Bye Bye Bobby was 2nd in the Mind That Bird Derby. He can stalk or close. Pepper Spray was no threat in the Mind That Bird Derby, number 6. Number 7, Chrome King Turf Paradise Derby. He won that one last time. He's going to have to run faster. And then Straight Up G, he won the Mind That Bird Derby, wiring the field. And he's one that's probably going to show speed from that outside post. Now I will give out my top 3 contenders in the Sunland Derby. Fowler Blue will be my 3rd choice. He's 20-1 morning line. I think he can sit back, he can make a late run, and this extra distance maybe will help him out. He's run some decent races. Broke his maiden at Del Mar, won a race, optional claiming company at Santa Anita late last year. He wasn't disgracing the Mind That Bird Derby, just wasn't able to get into the race. I think maybe he can hit the board in here if the pace is a little bit quicker. My second choice is going to be Straight Up G. I think they might have to try to go to the lead from the outside post. Doesn't need the lead, but he's one that should be up on the pace. And he'll try hard throughout. I just don't know that the added distance of this race is really going to help him. And he will lose Lasix in here as well, but he's run well without it multiple times. I'm going to go with the favorite in here, Slow Down Andy. He just looks classier than this group. Ran well in his California bred debut at 5.5 furlongs last fall at Santa Anita, winning that one by more than 4 lengths over a next out winner. Second time out, Golden State Juvenile. He was second, beaten a half length. Phineas won that one. He's a solid Calbred. Los Alfuturity, he upset Messier that day. Messier came back and romped in the Robert Lewis Stakes earlier this year. And then last time in the Risen Star, he just faced much better company. Epicenter, Smile Happy, Zandon. They would all be odds on in this race. And he was out in post 10. He just didn't run his best race. Now he's adding blinkers. Much easier spot. I think he's going to stalk the pace and he's going to win this race. So Slow Down Andy will be my top choice in the Sunland Derby for Sunday, March 27th. Now we're going to do the UAE Derby for March 26th. Just a quick pick in here. Looking at some of the contenders, Gilded Age for Bill Mott. He was third in the Withers. The Withers has turned out to be an okay race. When you first looked at the Withers Stakes, it didn't look like it was going to be such a productive race. But then we saw Uno Ojo, the second place finisher. He came back and he won the Rebel Stakes. And then we've seen some others run well out of that race, including Grantham, your fourth place finisher, came back and finished second in the Tampa Bay Derby. We've seen some others come in, hit the board in some other stakes races. So the Withers has turned out to be better than it looked. The winner there was early voting, and he looked really good in that race. But Gilded Age, he ran a decent race there in that Withers Stakes, and I think that he's one that is a contender in this spot. Pinehurst won the Saudi Derby. We also have the runner-up in the Saudi Derby in this race. I'm going to go with Gilded Age, though. He's going to be my top choice in here over Pinehurst. I think the Withers was a better than appears race, and if the form continues to go well out of the Withers, maybe he'll offer a little bit of value. They'll overbet Pinehurst, who maybe might not want to go quite this far. But Gilded Age will be my top choice over Pinehurst. Then my third choice will be Combustion. So those are my top three in the UAE Derby, and that will wrap up this look at the Kentucky Derby points races for this week. We got some more coming up as we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now on these Derby preps, the big races, big 100 points races, mile 1 and 8th races. We're going to learn a lot more about the top Derby contenders these next 3 weekends. And until next weekend, when I do some more Oaks and Derby preps, good luck at the races.